Before starting training, we suggest you watch this video carefully. It will give you a better understanding of the equipment, its various uses, and how it will best help your dog's particular problem. Details of the equipment and remote training techniques are also given in the literature provided with this package. It is important that your dog is conditioned to accept wearing the collar, in order that when training commences, he does not associate the correction with the equipment. This is known as the dummy effect. The collar should be fitted so that the probes are positioned under the neck, making a snug fit to your dog's skin, just as the active collar will be fitted. You should be able to put 2 fingers under the collar so it is tight but comfortable. Prior to training with the active collar, your dog should wear the dummy collar for 3 to 4 days, 2 or 3 times a day for about an hour, and when taken out on the lead for walks and during training exercises.
Tighten, come. Calm, tighten, calm. Boy.
If you are using the collar for command enforcement, these 3 to 4 days are a great time to train your dog with conventional methods, so that when you use the active collar, he will have a good understanding of the commands. The line, if used, should be attached to your dog's normal collar. This type of training does not apply to aversion therapy, which we will deal with later. Before using the active collar, if you have any doubts about your dog's medical condition, seek veterinary advice. The collar should not be used on dogs less than 6 months of age or on dogs with a very nervous disposition. We can now continue training using the active collar. With the collar switched on, fit the collar to your dog as you did with the dummy. With the collar fitted, you should now start line training if being used for command enforcement. Call your dog in a normal tone. If he does not come, call again in a stern tone. If he still refuses to come, use the trigger words such as oi and press the red button on the transmitter. Never press the red button when your dog is coming towards you, and always be prepared to lavish praise. If your dog is one who recognises the line and behaves on it, this exercise may be practiced instead in a secure area without a line. Your dog should act startled. There should be a slight movement of the head. If he does not react at all, it is probably necessary to turn the transmitter up. These exercises are important to establish the minimum setting to correct bad behaviour. Do not assume that small dogs need less stimulation and large dogs more. They are all individuals. Even on the lowest setting, some dogs may react in a more marked way. Although this is rare, this initial reaction should diminish after 5 corrections. If it does not, consult PAC, a PAC agent, qualified trainer or behaviourist. Once you are happy with your dog's reaction over the 3 days and he is coming to you well on the line or in a confined area, it is time to let him off. Choose an open area to begin with, as maximum visibility will enable you to interact with your dog properly. Confirm the collar is switched on and is set to the correct stimulation level. Do exactly as before. Command in normal tone, command in stern tone.
Come.
If he does not come to you, use the trigger word oi and press the red correction button. If, however, at any time he attempts to come to you, under no circumstances press the red button, but lavish praise. From the minute he turns to come back to you, praise, praise, praise. The last example was of command enforcement. We now look at command enforcement together with aversion therapy. One of the most serious problems faced by dog owners is that of sheet worrying. Your PAC Advanced Remote Trainer may be used in 2 ways to correct this problem. Either to enforce the recall command, or to create an aversion, otherwise known as the magic force effect. where the dog perceives the sheep or any animal it is worrying as creating the effect. It is essential in this type of training that the dummy effect conditioning has been well established. You will probably need a helper for this exercise, as line training is essential in order to find a suitable correction level safely. Only after 3 30-minute line sessions with good results showing marked avoidance should your dog be let off. It may well be necessary to increase the output level should the dog get into full flight, which can cause his tolerance level to increase. An auditory command is not necessary in aversion training. After a few sessions, you should notice that your dog will keep a wary distance from the sheep. Whilst we have demonstrated sheep worrying, this technique may be applied to other animals. The aversion technique should not be used in cases of aggression to other dogs or humans unless specifically advised by a qualified trainer or behaviourist. This time we look at pure aversion therapy with static objects. While no pre-training is needed for this situation, it is essential that the dummy effect has been well applied. In this case we have a dog who swallows stones. It is life-threatening as she has already been operated on by the vet several times. As with the sheep, we create the magic force effect. Wait until the dog makes contact with the stone, but before she gets it in her mouth, and use the red correction button. Notice we do not use a command in this situation. You should notice marked avoidance after a few corrections. It is a good idea to hide during this exercise so the dog does not associate the correction with your presence. The sheep worrying could have just as easily been a dog worrying horses, deer, cats or chasing rabbits, for example. The same methods of enforcement and aversion can be applied to dogs chasing cars, bikes, joggers. You may wish to correct bad habits when hunting or using the aversion therapy to stop your dog eating its own or other dog's feces or from drinking stagnant water. There are so many applications, often life-saving, but it is always worth seeking the advice of a qualified trainer or behaviourist. Keep training periods brief. Just a few corrections followed by a good night's sleep for your dog to think on the day's events can do wonders. But most of all, be kind and sensitive and always lavish plenty of praise and a reward if you wish when the dog does as he is told. Remember, the collar is a wonderful training aid, but not an excuse for poor or shoddy training. Do not hesitate to contact PAC or a PAC agent for advice. We wish you and your dog every success with the training.